That bowl of cereal. Um, I'm sorry, guys. This is Keno with STEMwithKeno.com. Welcome to Sift Weekly. Oh, wow. All right. Never a boring moment here, guys. Um, First off, I'd like to congratulate Thomas. You guys seen Thomas in the room. He actually passed the Sift test. So our shout out or our congratulations goes out to him. I actually posted this on our page on Facebook on the STEMwithKeno.com page. And let me see. There we go. I'm actually going to repost it. All right. So yeah, and basically says today we'd like to proudly announce another success story. Tom has successfully passed the United States Army SIFT, Standard Instrument for Flight Training Test. The STEMwithKeno.com family salutes Tom. We salute you, Tom, for your hard work and perseverance, preparing and successfully passing this exam. So guys, it can be done. You know, with the proper guidance and stuff. It is a tough exam, but it can be done. Scotty Flo. Hope we get a debrief again. A debrief video again. No, Scotty, I'm sorry. Like, it's really for my clients. My clients get all that information. So, I mean, that's like, you know, every now and then I will do a little debrief here and there, but, you know, that's the perk of tutoring with STEMwithKeno.com. But I give you guys tidbits and stuff like that and solve questions and everything like that. Oh, Thomas. I knew that was coming. Let me get some raisin bread. I knew that was coming. That's why I was laughing at the beginning of the video. I'm sitting there. I am murdering this bowl of cereal because I'm trying to hurry up and get ready for my live stream. And I'm like, bang, 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 bang. I'm banging it out. Next thing you know, I'm looking up. I'm like, oh my God, the video's running. So yeah, it's all right. I'll take one on the chin. Scotty, yeah, Scotty Flo. Okay, let's come on over to the YouTube family. He said, "Let me get some raisin bran." I was tearing that raisin bran up. I looked up. I was like, "Dude, this camera's running." So, it happens. Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, I had a whole lot of stuff going on. I'm scheduling another client. I'm smacking that bull. Oh, Tom, you gonna let me have it, aren't you? I know I'm not gonna live that down. When I saw that record, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, it's probably like 12 million people watching. Yes, in today's news, Shift Tutor was actually inadvertently recorded eating a bowl of cereal. Story at 11. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah. Alright, if everybody can hear me in the room in Facebook land, please hit 1. If you can hear my audio and video well in YouTube land, please press 1. I love that name, Nuclear Popsicle Stand. Damn. Right. Okay. All right. Okay, so normally I would try to come up with something historical for United States Army Aviation. But I was tutoring somebody right up to the end and right up to the butt of this live stream. he's deployed, so his schedule's kind of, crazy, and he actually just kind of moved and stuff. So like, normally I did not have time to come up with anything historical. Um, I would like to throw in something aeronautical, and I will. It is concerning distance. So, and then this will segue us quicker into questions anyway. So, um, in the room, anybody can answer. What is the difference between a statute mile and a nautical mile? What is the difference between a statute mile and a nautical mile? Who knows? Quickly, quickly, quickly. Stat is for viz. Not sure what that means. Nautical is distance. They're both. A statute mile and a nautical mile are both distances. A statute mile is the mile that like you run. A car mile, that's what I call a statute mile. A nautical mile is a boat mile or an airplane mile. So actually, nautical miles, boats, and airplanes actually run in knots. Oh, this boat runs at 15 knots. A statute mile or a nautical mile is about 15% larger than a. You should know this one. I can't remember the difference in numbers. Okay. I'm about to tell you. Okay. So a statute mile, a car mile, when you're driving down the highway and it says, oh, next stop, 15 miles ahead, that is a statute mile or a car mile. A nautical mile is an airplane mile, and the nautical mile is about 15% bigger. No, it's exactly 15% bigger. So, for your hard numbers, a statute mile is 5,280 feet. Remember this. This has come up on the test and things related to this. A statute mile is 5,280 feet, while a nautical mile is 6,076 feet. Some people round up to 6,080. All right. So, statute mile 5,280, nautical mile 6,076 feet. Now, another thing that I've noticed people have been having is liquid conversions. Okay, you should be aware that a gallon. Think of quarts. 4 quarts make up a gallon, and if you break those up, you have eight pints. Okay, so 1 gallon, 4 quarts, quarters, 4 of me make a gallon, and 8. If we split those up, then you have pints. All right. So liquid measures have been an issue. There's been something with distance, rate, and time. What I want you guys to practice is like when you're doing your distance, rate, and time problems, is to don't solve the problem. You know basic math. And I'm not saying don't solve the problem to get out of solving it. I'm telling you this to get in the habit of setting problems up. Like, how am I going to set this up? Tom goes that way at 10 miles an hour. Kino goes that way at 20 miles an hour. How long is it's going to be before they're 60 miles apart? So get in the habit of setting up these distance, rate, and time problems, not necessarily solving them, because that's just one of the steps. And I think that is the step that slows a lot of people down. They don't know how to set things up. KTM 1.1 ST statute. Okay. All right, so that is one thing you can do, because you want to knock these questions down in 60 seconds. Oh boy. I'm getting emails. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Copy. Okay, so, all right. Couple of things I wanted to touch on, and we can do some aeronautical stuff. I'll just fill some questions here, and I really do. All right. Okay. Another thing, some of my people were having problems with is the four forces of flight, and not knowing that there are subcomponents of drag. Okay, we know our basic four forces of flight: lift, thrust, weight, drag. But there's some subcomponents of drag, and the subcomponents are induced drag and parasite drag. So you have to be crystal clear that induced drag is a byproduct of lift. If we're not generating lift, we're not going to have induced drag. Okay. And what's causing the induced drag is the differences in pressures above the main rotor on the top and the bottom. The airflow is different. Okay. The top of the rotor, the airflow flows towards the hub or mast, and then the bottom of the blade, it moves away from the mast. And this is why we get circulation or vortices. All right. So that lift generation is what's causing the induced drag. Parasite drag is just sticking something outside. Like you're on a field trip on a bus, you're sticking your hand outside. You're going to get parasite drag. You're drag, man. Sound like a hippie. You're drag, man. It's not helping you move faster. It's hindering you from moving faster. Another thing I think people were having concepts figure out is what causes a turn. All right, so this aircraft is flying away from us, right? For my Facebook people and my YouTube, so the aircraft is flying away from you. All right, and then it decides to turn. So it starts to turn. What causes the turn? Okay, and what forces are in play? The thing that causes the turn is called the horizontal component of lift. Now, this is our jet flying normally. We will have a normal lift vector and opposing weight vector. Now, these are supposed to be even in level flight, but okay. So now, what happens when we bank the aircraft? The aircraft made a left turn. Well, these are just the wings. All right. There's no side forces at this time. But when we start to turn, the lift vector gets shorter because some of that lift is being directed to the right. All right. So your total lift is like this direction. Notice that the vectors got shorter. So what you'll notice when you do execute turns, your nose will want to drop. You're gonna have to pull some back pressure on your stick or cyclic or control yoke, whatever you're using. All right, because your lift vector has dropped. It's like, hey, we're not exerting as much lift as we were before, so this is why it wants to drop. Because the bank is kind of vector to the left for the turn, and as a result, what happens is we have something called the horizontal component of lift. This is the vertical component of lift. This is the horizontal component of lift. Okay, but if you put them both together, your lift is going to be like in that direction of the turn. So as our aircraft leaves us and then it goes into the left bank, If we don't put any back pressure, the nose is going to drop and you're going to lose altitude. So you're going to have to trim or use force trim in your helicopter. Um, you know, so that was another thing. So in a turn, okay, we'll just show like the roadway. In a turn, the horizontal component of lift is equivalent to centripetal force. Centripetal, centripetal. And the outside force is centrifugal. I'm saying it's centri, so you know how to spell it. Centrifugal or centrifugal force. So centripetal force acts inward, centrifugal acts outward. All right. Same thing if you were in a roller coaster and the roller coaster went down and then went up and went nuts. Okay. Your load factor when it's coming down, boom, and then going up, your centrifugal force is acting to the outside. Now this is a dip, but it's very synonymous with a turn because your load factor is going to increase. So in all of these, you're increasing the weight. Another thing about banking, a popular question is when you bank your helicopter 60 degrees, what is the load factor? Right now, 1G of gravity, one gravitational unit is acting on your body. So if you're like 100 pounds, you're 100 pounds because only one unit of gravity. Now, if we bank this aircraft 60 degrees, the load factor chart will register 2, which means a 60-degree bank increases the load factor. So that 100-pound person is now a 200-pound person in that moment. You'll notice this when you're in a roller coaster. You guys remember ever being in a roller coaster that hits the bottom and you feel like, you being pushed down into the seat because momentarily you are loading up gravity. Your gravitational or the units of gravity have increased. Conversely, at the top of the hill, you go negative, 0 or negative. What does your body want to do when that roller coaster just shoots over the top? Your body wants to lift or elevate. And this is why we have seatbelts. And in turbulent situations, we're asked to fasten our seatbelts in the cabin because we don't want our passengers flying around. It is your pilot could actually make everybody go weightless just by pushing the yoke forward or the stick forward. Everybody in that cabin could just right to the ceiling. So gravity. Okay. So if everybody caught that, give me a 2. If you understood horizontal component of lift, load factor, centripetal and centrifugal force. Hit me with a 2, guys, if you guys understand that. If anybody needs clarity, I will go into it about 2G. Oh, Tom, we know you understand it. Everybody congratulate Tom. He passed his Sift yesterday. Collective and cyclic feathering, flapping. Are they pilot controlled or automatic system controlled by the airframe to best suit the inputs by the pilot? Yeah, the pilot is not. Well, the flapping and the lead and lag from a fully articulate rotor system is not controlled by the pilot. They happen automatically, but what am I trying to say? Yeah, no, not the lead lag and flapping, no. They are automatically controlled by the system to best. Gee, that piece of it, all good. They are the system kind of works automatically in a sense. So the best possible load distribution uh, in different type of flight scenarios, load distribution, and best like kind of angle of attack. So that's like why it's I won't say better. Yeah, I will say better because um, it's just a higher performance rotor system. You'll find them more in your high performance helicopters, as opposed to like a rigid rotor. A rigid rotor is just rigid. There's no aerodynamic twist, which means let me get I wish I'm trying to think. Think about I was eating cereal earlier, right, Tom? So think of this as being the main rotor. Okay. So some aircraft in the rigid rotor systems, there's a twist. As you go to the outside, it'll twist downward. So it wouldn't be flat like this. When we get here, it would actually twist downward. So the angle of attack would be pivoted downward. And that's to kind of keep your main rotor in the fight, because it'll be cutting at a lower angle of attack and to just delay the stalls. Okay. But it's not controlled by the pilot. You have to watch how you answer these questions, because it'll be like, Kino, you said, so that's why I pause a little bit and now think about what I'm saying, because my trolls, they love me. Okay. Something else I want to discuss. Check my notes. Okay. Lift to drag. LD Max. LD Max. Give me a second. I'll post this on Facebook. All right. LD Max chart. Okay. So, what I want to do is introduce you guys to a chart. And it's on Facebook. I'm going to draw this on the board, guys, so all my YouTubers, don't freak out. Alright, so I'm posting this now and dropping. Okay, so sometimes they may give you or show you a lift to drag chart, or LD max, okay, or LD chart. This is your lift to drag ratio. Okay, so it's posted on the page, but there's a chart. Okay, and this is going to be your drag side. And this is going to be your velocity. Thrust required. Okay. The more drag you have, the more thrust is going to be required. That's my point. And this is velocity. So let's look at parasite drag. No, induced drag. All right. So I'll do it just like it is on the. All right. So they may ask you questions. All right, so this red is going to be parasite induced. Yeah. Induced drag will be in red. Okay, so as your speed increases, your induced drag decreases. This is what this is saying. As your speed increases, if you follow the curve, and red is going to be induced drag. So at low speeds, because this is 0. So at low speeds, your induced drag is actually going to be high. And then as we increase speed, we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 150 knots, maybe 200 knots. the induced drag is actually going to drop off to a low point, and then it's going to kind of pan out. All right. Induced drag is a byproduct of lift. Now, your parasite drag is going to do something different. It's actually going to start off small, and then, all right, so we'll call this para for short. Your parasite drag. So the faster you go, this is why aerodynamic streamlining is so important, because the faster you go, your parasite drag is going to actually increase with your speed. It's always fighting you. All right. And so then what we could do is we want to calculate minimum drag, which is a function of these two curves. And the curve will kind of look like this. All right. And this actually represents total drag, but your minimum lift to drag ratio is right here at this point. All right. And I'm going to talk about this point because there's a little speed that's associated with your minimum drag that I'm going to talk about right now. But today I just wanted to talk about what we call LD max. All right. Your lift to drag ratio is right here. Is right. This your LD max right here. They'll talk about, and they'll look like this LD max. All right, and we'll go more into depth with that because I have some questions I got to hit, and I want to make sure I hit certain questions. So remember this chart. Take a picture, freeze it. All right. Actually, we had some pretty good questions. Induced flow I talked about in a video either last week or the week before. I'm trying to switch it up. Other videos you will see me talking about induced flow, and particularly I was talking about effective translational lift and ground effect as well. So we don't want to be like, I try not to talk about the same things week after week after week. I try to change it up. Okay. Hey there, first one I was able to make live. Kevin, welcome. And I'm glad you were making here live. When rotors are mounted on the wings. Rotors are mounted on the wings. I've never seen rotors mounted on the wings unless you're referring to something like the V-22 or something. Rotors, tilt rotor, wings. I guess that's, so clarify for me, geometric art. How does the wash not create chaotic fluid dynamic forces around the high, low pressure areas of the airfoil, decreasing lift? That's a good question. If I'm really thinking about this, how I'm reading it. When rotors are mounted on the wings, the only time I know about rotors being mounted on the wings is the tilt rotor. The wash not create chaotic dynamic forces. If I'm thinking tilt rotor, the tilt rotor is actually inducing flow. So let's take the tilt rotor, and we'll take one side of the fuselage, because the rotors are huge, right? So you got the wing, and hold on. Let me get some V-22 Osprey. Okay, so I'm posting a picture. This picture is by Vertical Magazine. And this aircraft is I remember back in the day, you used to have quite a few accidents in this thing. And yeah. All right, guys, so this is going on the Facebook page here. And I put it in a forward flight mode. Now, this is the only way I think you would really be talking about a chaotic type, the chaotic fluid flow. Air, and when we talk about air, guys, we're talking about fluid because air and water act the same way. All right, hydrodynamics and aerodynamics are two very similar animals. So, okay, so you have the main fuselage, right? And I'm just kind of, here's the body, and here's where the pilots sit. And then you have the actual wing portion. And then you have the nacelle and all that and everything like that, right? And then you actually have the rotor. So let's say this is the rotor span and forward speed. Okay. It's not going to cause chaotic flow at this point. It's actually going to induce flow at this point. So the top of the wing, the air flow on the top of the wings is going to flow towards, damn it, Kino, going to flow towards the fuselage. And the air on the bottom is going to go away from the fuselage. Now, I wonder what this does for wingtip vortices and reducing induced drag, because on a standard rotor or wing, this airflow inward towards the mast and airflow outside towards the mast is what causes the vortex. And if this is there, then that means that the top and the bottom, and I'm just making an assumption, trolls, because I know you guys are watching me like, oh, he made a mistake. I'm assuming, because this is what we do, like on the Gulfstreams implemented a design where they put a winglet, which is like a winglet upward. So this diminishes how the mixture, because the reason why we get really bad wingtip vortices is because this is like wide open and the air meets here and it causes the disturbance. But this diminishes, and if we reduce induced drag, then we can get more range out of the aircraft. So I'm going to do some research because I think this probably serves the same purpose as the winglet, and it diminishes the mixture of air on the top and the bottom. And the wingtip vortices, I got to talk to my buddy about that, because they might have the same effect now that I'm looking at this. Okay, damn, geometric art. That was a good question. Got the old man thinking. Yeah. And guys, please hit the like button or dislike button. I don't care which one, but hit something. It's free. Facebook people. Okay. You guys are coming out with the questions today. I like this. Okay. I'll talk about hypoxia first. My definition of hypoxia. And okay, well, let me see. Well, why don't we do this? Aeronautical definition of hypoxia. Okay. Also referred to as altitude hypoxia. Hypoxic hypoxia is the lack of oxygen absorbed by the body due to atmospheric conditions. Okay, I like that. Because a lot of people will say, oh, not enough oxygen to the brain. No. I disagree, nuclear popsicle stand, and I'm not beating you up. Don't think like I'm like, argh. What I'm saying is, it is a lack of pressurized oxygen. The oxygen that you are breathing, you're getting oxygen, but it's not pressurized. The molecules are, they're too far apart. Let me give you an example, and I love doing this because how many people swim? Hit 3 in the chat if you swim. All right. Here's the surface of the water, and you're down there. swimming, playing, having a good time. Hit 3 in the chat if you who swims. Damn, good questions, man. Okay. And we'll get into what we call empty field myopia, which is why you should keep your eyes scanning and moving. Okay. Good. All right, get some responses. Okay, now, when you swim at the bottom of the pool, don't you feel all of this water pressure exerting itself on you? It's actually exerting itself on your body when you swim down to the bottom of this pool. And if you guys scuba dive, you'll feel this pressure. All right. Now, the atmosphere, think about the planet Earth. This is the planet Earth, and just don't worry about this, but just think about the troposphere. You know, the levels of the atmosphere. And this is you down here. Okay. All of this atmosphere above is exerting itself on you. So right down here, sea level, you'll have 14.7 pounds per square inch. That is one of the cardinal numbers of the atmosphere. 14.7 pounds of square inch. And yeah, you should also know 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 1013.2 millibars, 9.92 inches Hg, and mercury. We'll talk about that down the road, but these are like common numbers that your instruments, your flight instruments, are calibrated by. But at 14,000, and then you climb a big mountain up into the high altitude, I don't know, and so you're up here, right? You are 10,000 feet. Let's say the peak is 10,000 feet. Well, I'm just exaggerating the numbers, now 7.5 psi. Because you have less atmospheric pressure up there. So when your diaphragm opens your lungs, you're sucking in air, but down here, if we trapped air, all air will be like the molecules will be all packed together like boom, 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 boom. But at 7,000 or 10,000 feet, not as packed because it's less atmospheric pressure. Okay? So the oxygen doesn't have enough oomph to it. Okay? It doesn't have enough bang to it. So when you're trying to breathe at 10,000 feet and you have 7.5 psi, you're not getting enough pressurized oxygen. Okay? And you need dense oxygen. Okay? Since we're talking about oxygen, you cannot use medicinal oxygen. Like if you're at the hospital, like, yeah, man, I'm a doctor, I'm gonna bring my oxygen tanks from work, and I'm just gonna breathe on that. You cannot use that oxygen because there's too much water in it. You need to use aviation breathing oxygen. The water content is less in that oxygen tank. And if you mess around and actually have lines that are kind of exposed outside of the pressure capsule, where it may be allowed to get very, very cold, you could actually freeze your lines in the flow of oxygen. So make sure you use aviator breathing oxygen. Do not use medicinal oxygen. It will not be a good day, especially if you're at altitude. So hit 2 if you guys have ever seen the movie An Officer and a Gentleman. If you have never seen this movie, I recommend you guys go see it. An Officer and a Gentleman. Now, that is a standard lapse rate. I saw that. If you have seen the movie An Officer and a Gentleman, hit 2, guys. And I recommend you guys see it. An Officer and a Gentleman. Because Tom,
An Officer and a Gentleman is a 1982.
Okay, this movie was in 1982. It's a really good movie. The main stars are Richard Gere and Lou Gossett Jr. Lou Gossett Jr. did a lot of military movies. He was in Iron Eagle. I'm telling on my age, guys. Geometric Arts is an outstanding movie. Okay, well, the character Zach Mayo was going through and I'm actually putting this up on the Facebook page. He wanted to be an aviation officer candidate. He wanted to fly jet. Like, I want to fly jets, sir. And Luke, I said, my grandmother wants to fly jets. I love that part. He said, Mayo. He said, why are you here? But his name was applicant Mayo, and the drill sergeant used to call him mayonnaise. He's like, but he's like, man, why you want to be here? He's like, I want to fly jets, sir. He's like, my grandmother wants to fly jets. I know I repeated that, but that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. So anyway, I went off tangent. There's a dunker. There's a helo dunker where you'll be strapped into the helicopter, and Tom, you will go through this. So get your swimming skills together. It will, boom, slam into the water, and it will rotate upside down. Now, there'll be a scuba diver there with you. And what you have to do is you're going to be inverted. You have to blow, and you got to feel which way. If your eyes were closed, if you're in a dark ocean, if your helicopter crashed in a dark ocean, you got to feel where the bubbles kind of go this way. Let's say if I'm sideways like this, and I blow, and the bubbles run this way past my ear, I know that way is up. I need to swim that way to get to the surface. But before you even do that, you blow, fill the bubbles, disconnect your harness. Ditching. Okay, thank you, Nuclear Popsicle Stand. So anyway, I went off tangent a little bit. Okay, so back to hypoxia. There's an altitude chamber that you will go through, all right? And the altitude chamber is not, like they freaked out in the movie. It's not that serious in the movie. The purpose of the altitude chamber is for you to understand your hypoxic conditions and know, hey, I'm experiencing hypoxia, and to put the damn mask on. It's not about being bravo, like, oh man, who could count and who could do this the best? Because they're going to give you assignments. Tom, I might tell you count from 1 to 10. And just, when you get to 10, you go to 1 again. Geometric art, I might tell you, pull out a deck of cards, and ace of spades, 2 of diamonds. So what they'll do is they'll seal the capsule. And let me post, let's see, altitude chamber. This will be on the Facebook page as well. So yeah, this is typically how it looks. And I actually did a field trip and got a bunch of guys together pre-CV, and because I like doing that. It's a cool field trip, and I got to see when they're doing it again. But and we're probably going to go a little bit over time. But it's about hypoxia, and it's a safety thing, so I don't mind. All right, so if you look at this, if you're on Facebook, you can see the altitude chamber. So it's not like it's super tight and that it's something to freak out about. It's kind of like you're sitting in a doctor's office in the waiting room, just kind of hanging out, but you just happen to have a mask and everything like that. I took a picture. I'm gonna post the last altitude chamber thing I did. But so everybody's given an exam, a task to do. Tom, it's a love story. So Tom has been told to count from 1 to 10. Geometric art, you've been told to count a deck of cards, right? So at 10,000 feet, they'll be like, okay, we're at 10,000 feet. We're at 10,000 feet. Go ahead, remove your mask. And you're sitting there, you're like, okay, Tom's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Geometric art is like ace of spades, 2 of diamonds, 5 of clubs, king of hearts. Okay? Then they'll be like, all right, go ahead, put your mask back on. You put your mask back on. Sucking in that good oxygen and stuff like that. And then they'll be like, okay, we're simulating 20,000 feet, right? And then, boom, you take your mask off. They'll take your mask off. I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's feeling really cool, right? I don't feel anything because I know Tom. I don't really feel anything. You know, geometric art, like, I feel a little weird, whatever. So put your mask back on, right? So then they'll take you to 35,000 feet, and they'll be like, take your mask off. You take your mask off. You're like, whoa, something different. Tom would be like, 1, 2, 3. Geometric art will be like two a heart. I mean diamonds. King of. No, that's clubs. 5. Tom be like. Did I do 3 or was that? I mean 6, 7, 8. People, and it's funny. It's funny to me when I get hypoxic. I get super silly. Everything is funny. I'm like, look at the way he's counting. You know what I mean? So it affects everybody differently. Symptoms of hypoxia. Symptoms of altitude hypoxia. I want to talk about this because they're typical symptoms. It's just like if you take a drug and I take a drug, it's going to affect us differently. But symptoms include headache, loss of appetite, disturbed sleep. Okay, you wouldn't be doing that in the cockpit, would you? Nausea, fatigue, dizziness, beginning shortly after rapid ascent to high altitude. Okay. So, one person might get fatigued. They used to have there was something about muscular, they used to put in a muscular weakness or something like that. You know, I don't know. Fatigue. You can feel extra tired. You know, if you feel extra tired, but in some flight operations, you are required to be on a mask the whole time because, hypoxia could hit you depending on, your body and there's a whole lot of factors. Some people can just boom hit like that. And, some people might take a little bit like, I feel tired. Like, I got a good night's rest. Put the oxygen mask on. It's not going to hurt, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Because if you get like your situation where it's like rapid decompression or something like that, you could just be like, boom. So yeah, it's real serious. And matter of fact, in our cockpit, the mask is like kind of right there. So if we felt something, we just, boom. It's just one hand. Hit the back of your head, boom, and pull over, and then boom, and then just, but it's serious business. If you got yourself in a rapid decompression situation, you would definitely idle the throttles, push your nose down, get down to about 10,000 feet. All right. So, yeah, definitely check that movie out. Nuclear popsicle stand. Great questions. Geometric art. Great question. Great questions. And that's what we need to bring to the room, guys. I'm here every week. Doesn't cost you a thing to hit the like or the dislike button, YouTubers. But, if you liked or you disliked the video, just let me know. But this is what we're here. We're here every week to talk about Sift stuff. All you got to do is show up. And I do not endorse this book, but I'm just trying to prove a point. Bring your test prep books. I'm pretty sure you guys do not know. Oh. You don't know everything in your book. Bring your book. I will answer the questions. And if I can't figure it out, Tom will help us out. Because he just passed his Sift. Congratulations, Tom. Okay, guys, this was really a great session. I'm glad we got a lot of new images. Altitude chamber. I didn't get the dunker. Okay, let me put the dunker up there. All right. Let's see. Pilot water survival training helicopter. There we go. I found it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, this thing dunks and it inverts. I'm trying to get a really, really good spinning high intensity dunk tank. So yeah, when you do drop, the wind might be knocked out, but before you go under, you just gotta take a deep breath because the water level is gonna start. You're gonna have your full gear on, Probably you're gonna have like a harness, a flight suit, and everything. So I'm planning on going for the test in about a year. You know what? Within a year, I'm telling you, if you started tutoring like 6 months out, you'd be hella ready. Seriously, because then you won't even incur that much of a fee because you could do like once a week. Even if it was like a year, like once a week or once every other week. If you did that for a year, slowly ramping up for the test, that would be amazing, and it wouldn't cost you that. The cost would be diminished as the person is like, yo, I want to take this test in 2 weeks, and then I got to work with them 5 hours a week. It adds up. So me personally, if I was doing this all over again, I'd be like a year out. I'd be like, yo, let me just meet with you every 2 weeks. And, we'll cover what you need. If you did that for like a year, because 6 months, I think, is kind of iffy because sometimes I run into weak spots. Like, some person might not, like, man, I don't understand these exponents, man. And I might have to go harder and it might take them a while to get it. But I don't know. Me personally, I would just kind of do it like a course, like a college course or something. Like, like every 2 months, not every 2 months, every 2 weeks, maybe we meet for an hour, and then it doesn't hit your pocket that bad. But that was a good question. Let me get this water survival up here. So yeah, guys, this is probably the last thing we're going to talk about. And I thank you guys for all showing up. I'm going to just run through the list and after I post this and just make sure if there's any new faces. I always like to welcome the new faces. Never, ever think you're going to ask a stupid question, because if you don't understand something, then it's not a stupid question. And I will not put up with anybody making fun, no matter how simple you think the question is. But nobody makes fun of anybody. This is a learning environment. So I don't know, even if you have problems with, I don't understand fractions, I will not let anybody make fun of you. I wouldn't play that, because if you don't know it, I'm going to teach you how to do it and stuff like that, because there's a lot of things you have not done in years, like long division. Everybody has a problem with long division. And they'll look at me like, oh man, I feel so stupid. I'm like, why? It's the theory of disuse. The only person that's going to be great at dividing or division is a dude that does it all the time. So, yeah, I like that. Curiosity is never stupid. For real. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm not going to ask that because somebody's going to make fun of me. No, I wouldn't play that. Nobody makes fun. I will kick them the hell off and never let that, because this is a learning environment. I understand our school systems suck really bad. Sorry, teachers, but it's the truth. And the one-on-one interaction is better because I can find your weaknesses. And I can build them up. The teachers, most teachers, they come here and get a paycheck, they don't care. But I'm telling you, I'm training you for a purpose. That's the difference. Oh, your purpose is to graduate and get the hell out of here and be a consumer, or a critical thinker. You guys, you're going to take this test, you're going to be an Army helicopter pilot, you're going to have to be a critical thinker. You're going to have to make decisions. That's what this test is about. You're going to be a leader, you're going to take data, and you're going to make decisions based on that data. And you're going to operate within a framework of regulations and policies. So, this test, why are they doing this? Yeah, you're going to have to take data, you're going to have to make decisions. That's what you do every question we run through. You're taking the data, you're analyzing it, and you're making decisions based on that information that you receive. So there's a method to all this madness, and you're going to have to be smart. You're going to have to be able to take data and make decisions and choices before they're going to let you take up an age-64 or a Black Hawk or something like that, because people are depending on you to get a mission done. You know what I'm saying? If somebody out there in XYZ land, oh man, we need rations, man. We hungry. We need ammo. Got to be a navigator. You gotta be able to accurately navigate to and from. And if there's any type of, then you're gonna have to be, your situational awareness has got to be like a damn radar, like a radar scope, like boom, head always on the swivel. You know what I mean? And then you got to fly a helicopter, which is aerodynamically crazy. Aerodynamically, it takes practice. You know, so some people are like, oh, this test is just so hard. Why did they make it like that? Because you got to be smart. The United States Army is not going to dump millions of dollars into you if you can't pass this SIFT. And you will be one of the best trained helicopter pilots in the world. The Army helicopter pilot, please. The United States Army, please. And your opportunities down the road will be crazy. Fixed wing pilots, don't get mad at me, but most helicopter pilots I know make way more than fixed wing pilots. Because I think there was more fixed wing pilots than rotary wing pilots. So that in itself is like, but yeah, the opportunities you guys have. I'm not even going to talk about my friend because he'd be like, yeah, he was talking about me in your video, Kino. I saw it. Bill. But he knows I'm thinking about him when I'm talking about this helicopter pilot that's like making oh my God, it's sick. It's sick. But I do okay, so. Enough yapping. 308, we're out of here. See you guys next Tuesday. Bring your books. Bring your questions. Tell a friend. Hopefully my buddy from the Citadel is here with us. If you are, please hit 4. But there's a cadet from the Citadel. I sent him a link. And tell all the boys and girls down there at the Citadel, if they want to be United States Army aviators, this is the channel to be on, man. This is the channel to be following. Okay. So, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for coming. See you next Saturday, 1400 Eastern. I'm Kino with STEMwithKino.com. And shout out to... I always got to make fun. I don't care about making fun of it. And shout out to Raisin Bran. I love Raisin Bran. Tom's going to get a kick out of that. Oh, and congratulations, Tom, on passing your SIFT, bro. You got many, many, many more victories to overcome, but this is just one step in the right direction, Tom. So congratulations on your SIFT, and everybody. And I have another Thomas, I believe he's in the room. He's deployed right now, and yeah, with Memorial Day coming up, I would like to thank him for his service. If you're there, Thomas. Not you, Tom J, but another Thomas. And I don't want to say your name because I don't know if it's cool to like say your first and last name, and we haven't talked about it. But anyway, if you're on here, you know I'm talking to you. I just got finished tutoring you, but yeah, with Memorial Day coming up, thank you. I really thank you for your service, man. And you know what I mean. You're out there putting it on the line so we can all live. Even in COVID, we're still, even with the COVID thing going on, man, you're still out there in harm's way, man. And I wish you a safe return back to your family and all that and everything. And successful SIFT score when we get to that point. All right. And not just Thomas, but all the soldiers that are deployed and the ones that are home. We thank you for your service. And I'm sending you more helicopter pilots. All right. So, all right. That's all I have, guys. Thanks for showing up. See you next Saturday at 2 p.m. Peace, YouTube.